We've landed in Hawaii and I'm very excited, but we did have to wait a while for our bags. I think twice the carousel is like to pump out the suitcases glitched, so we waited for about an hour and then we've just got a taxi to our hotel, but we can't go in. Apparently there's some sort of flood in the room or something from an aircon leak, so we're waiting to transfer hotels. It's not a big deal, but it is getting kind of late. We've got time difference right now, but it's 11:30 here and it's just been a bit of a long day. I think the flying really tires us out, so hopefully we get transferred to this other hotel soon and get settled in for the night. We've just got into our replacement hotel room and absolutely soaked in the process, going outside from a taxi to the first hotel, back to that taxi or different taxi, and then to the second hotel. Absolutely soaked getting to the room as well, so we've had to kind of unpack everything. Just letting everything out to dry. It's quite late, I'm pooped, and I'm just gonna go straight to sleep. Alright, we've woken up this morning in Waikiki here and just went to our first hotel that we were meant to stay at last night for our complimentary breakfast. It was average sort of continental thing, very basic, but we've come down to the beach. It reminds me a lot of Surfers Paradise actually. The water does look nice and the mountains look nice, but I think all of the shops and just the general vibe reminds both Bren and I a lot of Surfers Paradise on the Gold Coast in Australia. So I think we're a little bit more excited to see the smaller islands or the more remote islands. Alright, just got dressed and ready and we're about to leave Waikiki to head to Hilo, and then after that we're going to Maui. So the rest of the trip I think will be a little bit more quiet and less of a touristy area. First car of the trip. We're renting two cars. This is like a Chevrolet Malibu or something. It's interesting because we're used to driving on the other side, in the car and on the road. Also, now that we're out of the airport, I want to share this airport at Hilo is like outside. There was a lot of outside parts at the previous airport, but the whole baggage claim doesn't have any walls. It's just out there in the open, which is nice on a hot day like today. We're gonna focus now because Brent's driving for the first time. Alright, we're now settled in our little unit in Hilo and I'm just gonna show you around really quick. This one has a bigger space than obviously the last couple hotels where we were, because we've got a kitchen and there's just a bigger bathroom space. Whoa. Not bad, it's definitely a fair bit bigger. It's got a tub as well. Not sure if I'll check it out since everything does look a little bit old. It doesn't look fancy or anything, but it'll definitely do the job and we have what we need. It also seems pretty well stocked with like toiletries and towels and everything. Got a nice little sitting area. And there's a few spots to relax, I guess. TV, may not use it. And a little couch and outdoor area. Don't know if anyone's in the pool. I don't want to be weird going out there. Yeah, we've got a little outdoor area here to sit. And outside there's just a small pool and I think it's a koi pond. I definitely saw one or two fish in there. We've got a pretty decently sized kitchen. We just came back from picking up some groceries, so some breakfast stuff like fruit, avocados, and snacks. We had to get macadamia nuts, but just things like this that we needed, peanut butter and a fair bit of bread. This looks strange as hell. We brought some protein powder from home and it was just in the carry-on bag, I think. But obviously didn't set off any flags at the airport. It's just protein powder. And just a few more basics we picked up. We weren't really sure what we would do for food, but we're gonna cook tonight, so got some tofu. This is like pre-marinated stuff to put in the wraps with some salad. and yeah, just more fruit for breakfast. We've got a local beer to try. This one I think is from Kona. Yeah, Kona Brewing Co. Looks pretty nice. And yeah, almond milk, and I had to try this. It's the different monster flavor, Blue Hawai'i, so I snapped that up. But yeah, just a few things. I was also really stoked to see how many different ice cream flavors there were, so had to get one. We've got things like this back at home, but definitely not as many options. And frozen berries, just again for breakfast to make smoothies and things, but that is it. And then here's our bedroom. We've got, again, a decent space compared to the other places. So we've got stuff for our luggage, like an actual dedicated area, and reasonable sized bed. I'm pretty happy with this place overall, even though things look a little bit older or a little bit dated, like the furniture and fixtures here. At least it'll do the job, and it's a bigger space than we were the past couple days, and more importantly, we are here for a few days now. I think we have 6 nights here, and then we're moving on to the next island, but it'll be nice just because for a while now it's obviously been like 3 flights in 3 days, just staying in Fiji one night and Waikiki or Honolulu one night as well. So that was a lot of movement, but now things are slower and going to be a little bit more relaxing, I think. But now I am really tired. We haven't had dinner yet, so I'll cook that in a bit, but I might get comfy first, take off my makeup, and just relax a little bit before I start cooking and have dinner at home tonight. Alright, it's now our first full day in Hilo, and we've woken up and have gone on a quick drive. I say we, Bren seems to be doing all the driving, which is good because it seems really scary being on the other side of the road and I'm only a passenger. But we have come to Rainbow Falls, which was a short drive, and apparently it's meant to be really beautiful. And then I think later we'll go to the beach, but the weather's good and I'm keen to check it out. Near the waterfalls there's these giant trees. Such a coverage on the sky, like this canopy, but they're huge. I think maybe it's fig trees, but I'm not sure. So gorgeous. Alright, we've just taken a short drive from Rainbow Falls to this beach, and it's quite rocky, but there is some sand around. I think it's kind of cool though, just because it's different to the beaches that we're used to. Also, I've seen these little, I don't know what they are, like little weasel things climbing around, and they're so cute and small. I feel like I might need to ask somebody what they are or have a look online later. Also need to find out the name of this beach, obviously, but we are set up here and just about to jump in the water. I've also seen signs about turtles, but I don't know if we'll see any today. It's just gorgeous here, and again, so different. Alright, we're done with our swim. It was really nice. We might come back here when we're in Hilo and have a look at a few other things, like our hike. Apparently there's rock pools and a lot of other stuff. So we'll have to decide if we want to come back here again or check out other beaches, but definitely this one was a must. It's so beautiful, and I can't believe how blue the water is. I don't know if it shows on the screen. Morning, it is another day in Hilo, and we've come to the Hawai'i National Volcanoes Park, and it's a little bit of a cloudy day, but I feel like it's working towards the atmosphere. We've put on slightly warmer and rainproof clothes. I feel like with the landscape and the outfit I look like a little bit of a Martian or something. I am excited though. It'll be interesting because I've not seen volcanoes or anything before. So we're just going to do a couple walks and check out the sites. There are steam vents and apparently like lava caves and things like that. I don't think there's live lava, like it's not active, or I don't believe that's what we're going to see, but we'll see, like I said, steam vents and a few interesting things, plus the plant life is really interesting. The earth or soil and also all of the plant life looks quite different to what we've seen so far in Hawaii. We've just come to these steam vents and they are little holes in the ground, obviously coming up with steam. It's warm, unsurprisingly. I don't know how clearly you'll be able to see because obviously steam and smoke doesn't really show up well on camera. I feel like you can kind of see it. So we've just been taking some pictures in here. Right now I'm getting a whole bunch of it, blowing it in. Right now I'm okay, you're fogged up. Yep, you can see it. Pretty cool. And you're fogging up again. There's a few of these along the side where you can get up close, and then obviously big ones further away from the actual caldera of the volcano. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It doesn't smell like anything either. I kind of thought it might be sulfuric or something. Like there's similar things that we have seen in Japan, and I remember those stank, but this is just scentless, so kind of nice to stand in. Alright, this is the stinky sort of sulfuric steam and gas coming out of there. You can see that yellow, it almost looks toxic, but it's just bright yellow from the acid or the fumes. Alright, we're done with the volcano sites, the steam sort of vents and lava tube, and we've gone on a little bit of a drive. It was like 30 minutes to get to this black sand beach. Like it literally looks like black pepper or something like that, poppy seeds. It's crazy. There are some waves here as opposed to the last beach we went to, which was behind some like wave breaks, I guess, from the rocks. Nothing too big, but yeah, some movement in the water, and again that black sand, which is so cool. More black lava rocks, but there's a good amount of palm trees, so we've got some shade. I was just sitting here for a few minutes while I let my sunscreen sort of sink in. I'll state the obvious as well. Yes, we're all wearing reef-safe sunscreen. I think that anything that's not reef-safe is illegal here, and they definitely don't sell it in stores. So we made sure we bought the right kind, since obviously I'm quite pale and can't just go out in the sun because I'll get burnt to a crisp. In fact, I did get a little bit of a burn on my shoulders yesterday from the water, so I'm going to be extra careful. I don't think the sun is going to be as strong as it is back home, but still I'm going to take a chance. chances. So I'm enjoying the shade on the side and I'm gonna hop in the water. Brendan is already in and he said it's quite cold, but I'm still keen to swim in the water and check it out. Alright, we're done with our swim. I hope you can hear me over the wind. It was really nice. The water was a little bit cold at first and quite rocky, but once we were in, it was so nice. And also, I did try to get some footage. I don't think you could see. There were 2 sea turtles in the water, which were not super duper close. And you can't get close to them in the water. You're not meant to. But it was really nice to see them. They were quite large. And I don't think I've seen any turtles in the wild before. In hindsight, I wish I had my GoPro or even snorkel and flippers, but just to see them anyway and swim in the water has been so lovely. And again, really special to see this black sand because, again, there's really nothing like it that I've seen before, and I don't think there are too many black sand beaches in the world from memory. Certainly less than white sand and yellow sand, obviously, but I think there's maybe a few black sand beaches here in Hawaii, and apparently also green sand, which will be really interesting. I love seeing the flippers. Yeah. Up. Oh my god. Don't go near the rocks, little buddy.
When it's like shaded, you can't really see very well. There he is, going out. There's 2 of them. There's one there. You see the flipper? And then probably about 2 meters out past him is another one.
Wow. Alright, we finished up at the beach a little while ago and came back to the apartment. I've washed my hair and gotten ready. Now we're going out to dinner since there is a vegan restaurant nearby. Good morning, it is a new day in Hilo here and we've come to Akaka Falls. You can sort of see it behind me there. We're going to go for a little bit of a closer walk. It seems like a taller waterfall than Rainbow Falls where we went the other day, and it looks really pretty. I believe there's just a short walk around to the base, so we're going to do that and get some pictures and videos. I'm really excited to see, and then maybe we'll go for another beach trip after that. Right, a little bushwalk to the falls is over and we've come to another black sand beach. In case you can't tell, we are sitting in the shade, so it does look a lot darker, but this beach is, or it was on the way back to where we're staying, and I believe it's primarily a surf beach. The lifeguard did say it's fine just to be cautious of the surfers. Truth be told, I feel like I'll mainly be sitting here in the shade reading my book, but I'll just show you the beach. It's obviously another really lovely beach, and this one is nice because it's got some waves. Done a little walk around and checked out the water. Much like yesterday, the water has a lot of rocks, and I'm kicking myself for not bringing like water shoes because I do have them at home, and I think it would have been helpful at the beach. I'm just being very careful when I'm in the water, but like I said, I just went for a little dip and walked up the beach. I was looking at all of the sand and shells. There's also a lot of little smooth bits of broken glass, which was pretty cool to see, all the different colors. I collected a handful and then sort of tossed them back. But now I'm sitting here reading. I have finally picked up Emily Henry's Great Big Beautiful Life, and this is just the perfect spot to be reading, like a nice summery book, sitting here on the beach in Hawaii. I'm really glad that we have this shade from the tree to sit while I read, and also glad that we found these chairs at the unit we're staying in. They were just left for us to use, so that's nice. But it's really gorgeous weather today. I can't put into words. I don't even know if the camera does it justice. Alright, it's a little while later. After our lunch, which was quite yummy, we just got a couple more groceries and also filled up the car, which was very interesting. Obviously back home we don't like prepay, we fill up and then pay after, but you prepay here, which I guess does make a lot of sense. But even just figuring out what sort of fuel needed to go in the car and how much to put on was a little bit different. And I will say, as much as I liked lunch, I think I was allergic to something in it. I haven't had allergy testing, so I don't know or don't believe I'm allergic to many foods, if I am actually allergic, but twice in the past I've had like rock melon or honeydew, like a variety of tropical fruits, say at breakfast here or there in the past, and on 2 occasions I had fruits like that and felt like I couldn't breathe after, just coughing and like my throat was closing up. Obviously it wasn't super serious because I didn't get medical attention, but same thing happened today, and I don't know what it would have been. There was some different sort of fruit, I think, in one of the burgers that we ate, and some sort of root vegetable that made up the base of this pizza that we had. Again, the food was really nice, but I felt pretty crappy for a while after until we got back here and I had an antihistamine and just rested. I do feel fine now though. I think what I might do is get into pajamas or some comfy clothes because we are back here for the rest of the day and night. I realize I don't really share what we get up to at night since it is just relaxing. Normally we've been watching Disney movies or just something to half pay attention to since we've been so sleepy still. Not sure what we'll watch tonight, but I am cooking tonight and getting that ready, so while I'm marinating some tofu, I'm just gonna get comfy and undone for the day.